Friends, Greg, Newmaster, coming at you again with another action figure review. Today I have Medicom Mafex Psylocke from the X-Men. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. God bless you all, peace, and thank you very much. Anyhow, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in the late 80s, 90s era. So 90s was all about Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee. And anybody who has X-Men #1 knows what I'm talking about. It was the relaunch of X-Men. It was Jim Lee, Chris Claremont. Claremont eventually left the book, and so did Jim Lee. But if that iconic cover of all of the X-Men restylized with Jim Lee's artwork, just absolutely incredible. But, at that time period, Psylocke, Betsy Braddock, became a primary X-Men, which was really fun too because, we all got so used to Jean and as the primary telepath, telekinetic member of the X-Men. And it was really cool because it was sort of like filling that initial telepath role in the X-Men, but now we had Psylocke as the ninja. She was Asian and Japanese, and she had an awesome look. She had the sort of like Elektra. She looked very similar to Elektra in her uniform, and she had the awesome purple hair, and she had she didn't have telekinetic abilities like Jean. Mostly telepathic, and then she could focus her telepathic energy into different weapons, mainly her psychic knife that she would plunge into an adversary and like scramble their brain. So it was very fun, and she was just a badass warrior. She has probably one of the craziest, most convoluted backstories of all the X-Men. Initially started out as British and white and was the sister of Captain Britain. And then through some sort of process with interacting from the X-Men villain Mojo and some Japanese bad guy. I want to say his name was Matasuda, but I can't remember what his name was. But he switched her mind into the body of the assassin ninja named Kawanan or something like that. I can't remember her name either. It doesn't really matter because it's just so confusing. So, in the 90s, we have Psylocke, Betsy Braddock in the Asian body, and then there's Kawanan, who is in Betsy's original body, but she has her mind is in Betsy's original, white European body, and she went by the name of Revenge or Ravenge or something like that for a time. It's all so confusing, but anyhow, so Betsy was just like this badass ninja, and she was British, and then she was played by Olivia Munn in X-Men Apocalypse, and it was such a shame because I know that everybody was very excited to see her, Psylocke in X-Men Apocalypse. And I think Olivia Munn did a good enough job with what she had. But, mostly in the X-Men movies, there's always just awesome X-Men that get put into the films, but they don't get any character development. And that's, excuse me. And that's what happened with Psylocke in X-Men Apocalypse. She's pretty much a wasted character. Same with Archangel. He was a wasted character in that movie as well. So they're just like eye candy in that movie, and they don't do anything. Which was a shame because it would have been nice to see Olivia Munn like flex her chops and have a British accent, but she has Asian ancestry, and it could have been really cool. And I thought she looked great. So anyhow, so now we have Psylocke, who is one of the coolest, most convoluted X-Men of all time. And I'm very happy to get this figure. I got mine from Japan. I pre-ordered it from eBay a long time ago, and I just received it. and I'm very happy to get it. A really good Japanese toy website is called Plaza Japan. I love that website. I took a gamble on it because you never know like what it's going to be like, if it's going to be, when you see the foreign websites, like, when you're searching on Google, you don't know if you're going to get scammed or whatever. But this was a legit, reputable website, Plaza Japan, Plaza Japan.com. And they have all these Japanese imports. So if you love the Bandai figures, if you love Mafex, it's a really good place to buy them from. And they ship really quick. Anyhow, so onto the figure. Super excited to get this figure. I was not impressed with the Marvel Legends version. The original Toy Biz one and now the most recent Hasbro one. It was kind of mediocre. And oddly, they gave the first release of the Toy Biz one, Psylocke had black hair instead of her purple hair. So people had an uproar over that, and then Hasbro released another one, an alternate one, that was all purple. So whatever. So this one is traditional, looks straight up Jim Lee version. It seems like they're doing the Jim Lee team, Mafex, which I am super happy about. So let's get into this figure review and open it up, and you guys can see it just as I'm experiencing it. There's the front of the box. I love this artwork here. I'm not sure if that's a Jim Lee drawing or not. It looks like a Jim Lee drawing, but it could be somebody else. That is definitely a Jim Lee face there. And here's the side, a dynamic picture of Psylocke. There's the back, all the, different poses, all the things you get. Mafex number 141, remember that. Here's the side of the box, and here's the bottom, and you always want to make sure with the Mafex that there's that official metallic sticker there, hologram sticker, to make sure that it's not a fake, because there are a lot of fakes that are out there which are actually pretty good and they're a lower price, but you want the real deal. So let's bust this baby open and take a look at one of the coolest female X-Men period of all time. It actually comes with some instructions here. I don't really know why. I guess on how to assemble the swords, as you can see there, and the different sashes that she has and things like that. So actually I'm going to open that up real quick. I don't want to ruin the bag. So I'm going to cut this with a knife. And we can take a look at that together and see what this has to say, because I honestly don't know and I don't want to break anything. Let's see here. I don't want to make this video too long either. Okay, but basically it looks like how to assemble the swords, the katanas. Looks like it's just the hilt. I wonder if it has the blades. I'm not sure. Oh, and if you want to change the sashes, you can pop her waist apart, which is easy. So you don't have to be afraid of breaking the figure. And there it is on the back. So that's nice, though. They give you some instructions. If you guys get the figure, you can look at those yourself. And I'm going to open this gently because every single time I open it, there's a traditional stand on the back, and then there's a different piece of bubble on the back with all of the weapons that she has, the psionic weapons that she has. I'm going to carefully open this so I don't get all the pieces all over the place. And we can take a look at this beautiful work of art. I don't think a lot of people understand about action figure collecting, and I just always want to emphasize that, when I was growing up as a kid, like, action figures were awesome, but they weren't all that they could be. And now to be an adult, and I think the toy companies realize this, that, all of us kids who grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, we see like what they can do with action figures now in terms of sculpt and articulation. And there's just a huge market for people like me and people like you who are watching these videos that love these things, and they're just gorgeous, and they're They're gorgeous works of art, and people pay money for them. I know I will. So let's pull out this beautiful Psylocke action figure, and I love how they wrapped her really nicely in the plastic, just to make sure there's no paint chipping, scuffing, or quality control issues. And she's just stunning. Looks very nice. She's I saw some pictures of her online and she looked very large, but actually the figure is quite petite. She does not look gigantic. She actually has, just as the Jim Lee drawings, she has very long legs and a shorter torso. And it looks really good. Like, I'm very, very impressed by this figure. And the cool thing about Psylocke, too, is that she's a ninja, so she comes with all the different accessories. You get the different katanas and swords, which is very exciting. But she looks great. Let me see here, so you guys can get a good look. And just take a really nice look at that face. The purple on the hair looks beautiful. It's nice and shaded, has sort of a black wash on it in between the crevices. So they shade it nicely. The uniform is that metallic blue. Sometimes you see Psylocke in a purple leotard, but she is traditionally in a blue leotard with a pinkish purplish sash. So that is more of the traditional Jim Lee style, where sometimes whoever's drawing will put her completely in purple. And that's what she looks like from the back. Just a really, really beautiful sculpt. And let's go over some articulation. Let's see her head. Her head doesn't go that far forward, even though she's on the double joint there. So not too much movement in the neck. Mine could just be stuck, but it, look at just in like those lines, like the eyebrows, they're just so finely painted. The eyelashes, the eyeshadow, the purple lipstick, she just looks gorgeous. So not too much movement in the head. We do get an alternate head sculpt that I'll go over in a minute. It's an angry face. Her arms go up about that high. So that's kind of unfortunate. We don't get too much movement in the shoulders. Maybe I can, doesn't seem like I can maneuver it very much. So she's hindered a little bit there. She has a bicep swivel. We got, hand just popped off really easily. So I'm going to put that on. I want to be careful. Because she's so petite, you could break the pegs on this very easily. She's got the double jointed elbows. She doesn't get too much of advantage with the double joint there. They really it looks like they really wanted to make the sculpt very nice, so they didn't overemphasize the articulation in certain parts. So her elbow only bends just a little bit more than 90 degrees. Oh, look. Look at just that tiny little blue detail of the cloth wrapping around her middle finger there. You guys see that? That looks really nice. So I appreciate that. I appreciate fine little details like that. Her torso bends pretty far. If you can see that there, she's got articulation up underneath the ribs and the breasts, and then she has it at her waistline where her hips are. So she has 2 points of articulation, but it is a little bit wonky. It kind of sticks out, so there's sort of a gap there in the lower bit of articulation, which I don't like, but you can kind of cover that with the sash and just pull that down, and that's real loose fitting. Also, yeah, that's glued on there, so that doesn't move or peg in, I don't think. And let's take a look at the legs. We can do a straddle about that far. She kicks up really high, so you can get a really nice kick for dynamic posing. But you want to be careful because this flesh tone could scrape off really easily. This is a bit of a softer plastic, but I'm going to carefully pose. That's what she looks like from behind. The double jointed knees are very nice. So she just has a full bend in the knees. However, the ankles are hindered a little bit because she can't really bend her ankle very far down. She can bend it up about that high, and then she has toe articulation, and then we have the ankle pivot. So she has that as well. So, I mean, you can definitely get some good posing out of this figure, but it's not as flexible as some other figures such as Spider-Man or even the male figures, just because of how tiny her appendages are. So there is our beautiful Psylocke. And that's like what the bottom of her feet look like, just in case you didn't get to see that. Top of her head, back, side, and so on and so forth. Now let's take a look. Oh, as I drop her all over the place. As always, I am not graceful in these videos. So here's the alternate head sculpt. She has a nice angry face. She's gritting her teeth. Her hair is a little bit windswept, kept together. I'll switch the heads for you. That popped off very easily, as you can see. And I'll pop the alternate head on, and that's what she looks like with the angry face and the windswept hair. Not sure what figure I'm gonna, or how I'll pose her. So she also comes with a sash that has the katana holsters connected to it. So it looks like, I don't understand why they did this. It's kind of weird. It's a weird design choice. So it looks like you have, so here's one of the katana accessories, and it's with its sheath, and I guess you can just put the handles on the belted katana, which just seems really weird to me. I don't know why they did that. It just seems silly. Okay, but you can do that however you want to pose it or whatever. So you can have the katanas in their sheath separately, which I don't know, I just think it's dumb. And then you get two katanas that are out. Very beautiful looking, by the way. The handle, just look at the level of detail. That looks really good. Get that in focus for you guys. Nice gold color, metallic gold. But anyhow, so I don't know, this is wasteful for me. Like these two additional katanas that are sheathed, that's just unnecessary. They could have just put it on the belt or just made it with an actual sheath where you can put the sword in the sheath. I think I would have liked that way better instead of what they did. But you have that option if you want to put the different belt on. I'll show you guys that. So you just pop her waist there, and you pull that sash off. And I'm probably not going to display my figure this way. I just think it's kind of silly, in my opinion. But you can put it on like so. So then you have, okay, I see why they did it. So it's to give the illusion that if she is holding the katanas, it's as if they're drawn from the sheath. But if you want to present the figure as if one of the katanas is holstered, you can pop the handle off like so, and then you can put it in the sheathed version, or in the sheath, which, yeah, and you can do that. I just think that's really silly, and I don't I don't know what the logic was there, but to me it is illogical, and it's just extra accessories. But you have that option if that's what you're down with. So that being said, let's move on to and I did it, of course course I did. I do it every time. I say I'm not going to knock things out, and I knock everything out. So, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of hands. So here is sort of just like whenever the ninjas or whenever a martial artist does their form, they have those pointing hands. And there's little connectors on the bottom there, so you have that option if you want. You get a pair of open hands. So however you want to pose it with the open hands. And you get a pair of fisted hands, which may be necessary for the psionic, the side blade attachments. And what else do we got? And then we got the weapon holding hands, which I will definitely be using because I want her to be able to hold one of these katanas, which I'm going to do right now. These hands come off very easily, at least the ones that came on the figure. This is really tight, so be very careful. As I put this hand on right here, it was extremely tight. So then you can put a katana in, and I would be super careful too with these katana. It's a hard plastic and it'll snap right off, but there we go. That's really cool, her holding a katana. You can do different poses. So there is that. I'm going to take this belt off because I don't like it and it's going to be in the way, and just put on the regular sash that she came with, which I like much better. I'm going to pop that on. Okay. So those are the hands, and let's see if I can get the weapons out here. I don't know if they taped those in. Yes, they did. They taped them on, which means I need to cut this tape on the bottom here. There we go. And it pops right out. This is just going to be all over the place. They definitely make it challenging for collectors. It's like we had to assemble all this, so you guys are going to have difficulty pulling it out. But anyhow, so here's all the different side blade effects. So I'll definitely be displaying it with her traditional side bladed hand. So the hand is in there, as you can see, and I can't tell. I think this is the left hand, so I'm going to put the right hand on because I think Psylocke is always right-handed, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, that's right. You can see the fist inside like that. I'm going to put the side blade on just like so. And then you have Psylocke with her side blade, which looks awesome. And then she has her sword. Oh yeah. Oh, as I pop her arm off. But just so you guys can see, she has butterfly joints in the shoulders as well. So you also have that posing capability. Forgot to go over that with you guys. Girls, if there's any girls out there too. Let's see, what else do we have? So they give you both options for both hands. So whatever you want to do, however you want to display it. I'm definitely going to display her holding one of her katanas. And then what else do we have here? This is sort of like a punch hand, I guess. And then I guess this would be, okay. So that's the port for the one set of hands that she came with, and it looks as if you can port them on. This is like the ninja hand. Okay. So here's the ninja hands here, and then you can put the side blade on. I guess this would be like a shield. That's what it looks like. You can put the shield on like so. Well, actually, that's the wrong hand. So I'm going to switch that out and give you guys a look of what that looks like. and you put it on like so. And it is nice that they give you all these accessories, but it is a bit much. So, just in my opinion, and they're sort of like a blocking hand. I think that's what that's supposed to be, like a blocking shield of some sort. But to me, Psylocke's powers are mostly telepathic. I mean, everything constantly changes in the comic book, so it's hard to keep up with. I wish too that they would have given us the head where she has like a red tattoo like over her eye, and it looks really cool. So I wish for an alternate head sculpt they would have given us that. So that's what she looks like, guys. Those are all the accessories. For a quick comparison, here she is with the Hasbro Psylocke, and I even like how Hasbro. See how Hasbro gave her original Psylocke butterfly effect? I wish they would have given that for this Psylocke, but see the comparison? Here's the original figure, and it has black hair instead of purple hair, where this Betsy has the purple hair. Let me switch her head there. And then you guys can get a really good look at her. And just see how, just a very beautiful figure. She's like tall and long. See, I even like how it just looks proportioned better. Like this is just like a cookie cutter mold, it looks like. And Betsy's mold looks, with the Mafex version, it looks like Jim Lee. So, I mean, it looks just like his style. So there she is compared to the Hasbro, which looks just very generic. Even though this is a cool figure, I wish Mafex would have included this effect with Betsy. So that would have been cool. Because that was like traditional Psylocke. Here she is next to Gambit. So you can get a size comparison compared to the other Mafex figures. And this Gambit, if you don't have this Gambit, this is the greatest Gambit figure ever made, in my opinion. So, look at that. Gambit's got he's got more height than she does. So, it looks like he has about a half an inch on her. So, that's cool. And we'll take a look, one more comparison, and we'll wrap this video up because I'm pushing 30 minutes. But it's such a intricate figure. Here she is with Magneto. So the scale looks really good, but she looks like a taller figure, so she looks very nice and slender. Really beautifully sculpted figure. So anyhow, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I highly recommend any Mafex figure, especially like the comic book versions of the figures. Their movie versions are awesome, but man, they just knock it out of the park in terms of Marvel figures and DC figures. Like the Batman Hush figures, the Spider-Man figures. Just wonderful, wonderful action figures. To me, the best that is out there, in my humble opinion. So I hope you guys liked the video. Please like and subscribe, and God bless you all. We got Medicom Mafex Psylocke, Jim Lee version. Whoop, whoop.